Battery 100.
We're back. Hi. Hello, everyone. We're back. I'm Brooke. This is Brooke Rose Talks. And kind of screwed up a little bit. I forgot. Whoa, that was loud. Stop it. I forgot to make a information for the UFO part of this show. It's like, oh shit, I forgot all about it. It was about UFOs. But we can still talk about it if you want. I have a different structured part, though, and oh god, that really disappointed because I just completely blew in my head everything that's going on today or in the week in the news with that lady being, kidnapped, and the Olympics with that ice skaters being kind of ripped off from the judges and everything else that's going on. I just totally spaced on the whole alien part of it. And I apologize. However, the show must go on, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to continue with the show. Hope everybody enjoys it and have a good time. Once again, I'm Brooke Rose. This is Brooke Rose Talks. And what we do here is we talk about all kinds of things. Now, I might kind of stand up a little bit today because I pinched a nerve in my shoulder, my neck, and sitting down hurts. So I might stand up, lean over, do some other stuff, but it's not for any other reason than my shoulder and my neck really hurts today. So let's get started into the things. Like I said, I apologize. I totally spaced on the whole alien part, but we can still talk about it when we get through some of this other stuff. Okay? So we'll get started here. Today, I wanted to talk about why people secretly enjoy when others fail. Right? You ever notice that? Other people get joy out of other people not doing so well? So, there's something uncomfortable. Sometimes it's just uncomfortable to admit that most people recognize it the moment it's said out loud. Failure gets attention in a way success rarely does. Someone announces a promotion, people say, congratulations. Someone makes a public mistake, and suddenly everyone is watching. And it's not because people are cruel, it's because failure touches something very human. Comparison, right? By the time people reach out, by the time they reach their 30s and 40s, life usually hasn't gone exactly as it's planned. I can contest to that for sure. Career changes, relationships change, plans shift. The simple version of adulthood people imagine turns into something more complicated. So when someone else fails publicly, something strange happens. Not happiness, not joy, relief. For a moment, the pressure lifts. Someone else is struggling. Someone else made a mistake. Someone else is being judged instead of you. For example, I'll never buy a lottery ticket for somebody because I'm afraid they'll win. What if they win the big one on the ticket I bought for them and not for myself? I know that sounds selfish, but I would be like, oh my God, I can't believe I gave the winning ticket away. Psychologists call this comparison. People measure their own lives by looking at others. When someone successful stumbles, it resets the scale. People feel a little less behind, a little less alone. The internet didn't create this, it just made it louder. Before social media, most failures happened in private. Now it happens in real time. It gets recorded, replayed, and talked about endlessly. Now, how many of you people out there secretly hope that Trump will fail? Right? Well, not even secretly, huh? Most people say it right out loud. That's the part people don't like to admit, right? Outrage and concern sometimes hide entertainment, right? Sometimes people get entertainment. I know my ex, won't say which one, gets a lot of joy out of other people failing. People say they're watching because they care. Sometimes that's true, but attention itself becomes a reward. The more people react, the more the story spreads. Success is predictable. Someone works hard, improves, and succeeds, that's good, but it doesn't create tension. Failure creates a story. There's emotion, conflict, uncertainty. People want to see what happens next. That's why comeback stories matter so much. The fall has to happen first. Without the fall, the recovery doesn't feel real. By 30 or 40, most people understand this instinctively. They've had things not work out. But they've been judged unfairly. And if they're honest, they probably watched someone else make a mistake a little louder than they did, a little bigger than they did. It makes you feel better when somebody else screws up more than you do. You kind of feel a little better about your screw up, right? The uncomfortable truth is this: failure makes people safer. If someone succeeds, or if someone's successful can fall apart, then perfection was never real. Maybe everyone is figuring it out as they go, or that realization can feel uncomfortable. But there's a downside. When failure becomes entertainment, people become afraid to try. Mistakes last forever online. Instead of learning from failure, culture starts pushing back. And when that happens, people take fewer risks. They stay quieter. They stay safer. Most people watching, they aren't hoping for, destruction. They're trying to understand their own lives. And a lot of times it's through somebody else's life. They want reassurance. That struggle is normal. The healthier response is not pretending this instinct doesn't exist. It's recognizing it, right? Asking a simple question: why am I watching this? Why am I learning something? Or am I just relieved that the spotlight isn't on me today? Because everyone gets a turn eventually. Everyone fails at something eventually. Everyone misjudges a moment. Everyone has something they wish wasn't public. And maybe the honest conclusion is this: people don't actually enjoy failure. They enjoy the reminder that nobody escapes it. Success inspires. Failure makes us human. And for people living through the complicated, middle years of life, that reminder, even when it's uncomfortable, can feel strangely comforting, right? We all go through it. They call it the midlife crisis. I know that a lot of my listeners here are between the ages of like 30 and 45. You guys have a tough life right now. Hard to find a house you can afford, a job that's going to support your family. You have to decide, are you going to have kids or not? Do I bring kids into this craziness of the world today? That's a big decision. I don't know if I'd make the same one I made back when I was young. But so now that we've talked about this and we think about how people win, lose, and fail in jobs and stuff, I was watching lately, and I've kind of been hooked on this on YouTube, is videos about people gambling money. And it shocks me how much money they gamble. I can't do that. Hell, if I go to the casino and I lose $100, oh my God, I'm going to freak out. But people do this for a living. They seem to be normal people. Lady Luck Dude, or whatever their names are. But anyway, why do YouTube slot channels look like they win more than they really do on camera, right? I'm saying they cannot win as much as it appears, otherwise they'd be filthy rich. But they act like they're rich. And they all talk about how they had normal lives before. I mean, it's kind of confusing. It makes you want to go out there and just start a gambling channel and bet it all. But gosh, the casino's lights are still on. So I don't know. At the beginning of every year, a lot of gambler channels start posting their wins and losses. And if you watch long enough, it starts to look like they're winning constantly. Big jackpots, big celebrations, big reaction. It feels like money is flowing in. But that picture is incomplete. Let's start with something simple. Slot machines are designed so that casinos win over time. Not that opinions. That's not how math works. If players won long term, casinos wouldn't exist. So when you see someone winning online, often all the time or whatever online, you have to ask a question. What aren't you seeing? Most gambling channels film hours, sometimes entire days, but videos you see might only be 20 minutes long. The exciting parts that get shown, the losing, right? They don't. They don't get shown because nobody wants to watch somebody else lose, except for that was my first part of this episode was people love to see people lose. Are we watching to see them win, or are we hoping that they'll secretly lose like we do when we go to the casino? It's kind of a weird human thing, huh? You know, for example, how many of you people watched the Olympics this week and you've seen that our national treasure here in the United States, and this show gets watched by all over the world, we're secretly happy that the couple that was supposed to win the gold didn't because they were American. Right? How many of you were happy about that? How many of you were pissed off about that? Put it in the chat. Let me know. You know? Because there's that figure skating controversy where the U.S. ice dancers, you know, I think their name is Chuck and Bates. They're a married couple. They won silver instead of gold, and they were supposed to win gold. The controversy centers on a French judge scoring margins with alleged swings in the favor of their own team or their own country or whatever, because I guess all the other judges scored the American team as the winner, clear winner, but the French judge scored them less and scored the French team more, which gave them the gold medal. And it was like a big shock amongst the skating community because this American couple were just predicted to win. And they didn't win and everything. And they were crying on TV and everything. I haven't paid much attention to the Olympics this year just because some of the athletes pissed me off a little bit with their complaining about being from the States. And that's a whole other thing. But, you know, but the union of the Olympics, they stand by the official results. So they're not going to go back and recheck them and, you know, start handing out medals to other people because they think it was unfair. It's just a matter of opinion, I guess. But apparently the whole world, whoever's seen it, said it's obvious that the U.S. they did a flawless performance and still lost. And the other ones had some screw ups. I don't know, right? The scoring system confuses fans anyway. So they added that Norway, Italy, and the U.S. are currently leading overall medal counts because I wanted to know what are the medal counts. So right now, Norway, Italy, and the U.S. Where's Russia and China in this? That's unusual, isn't it? They're leading the overall medal race. Okay, what are they at? Medal counts by race. The Germans, they may be mistakes. Learn more Brook Road. Oh, I thought I put the stats up here. Okay. Oh well. I guess I didn't put the stats. I thought I had the stats for the games right now. So the figure skating, once it has people arguing about judging, this time it involves the U.S. ice skating dance couple, Madison and Evan. Yeah, they came into the Olympics as heavy favorites, multiple world titles, strong reputation, clean performances. Most people expected gold. Instead, they finished with silver. And almost immediately, the question started circulating. Did they get ripped off? Here's what actually happened. Figure skating, especially ice dancing, is not scored like a race. There's no finish line. Judges score both technique elements and artistic complements, timing, difficulty, execution, presentation. That's where the controversy lives because interpretation matters. The biggest issue people didn't point to is one judge scoring margin. A French judge gave higher marks to the French team, and that swung the scoring, helping decide the final result. The International Skating Union, the sports governing body, has already said they stand by the results, meaning officially nothing improper happened. But that doesn't mean people agree with it. Chuck and Bates themselves didn't accuse anyone directly. What they said instead was that the scoring system can be confusing and some fans it's hard to understand. Boy, that's really big of them to say that, actually, to accept it. You know, and that's really the heart of the problem. When a sport depends on judging, not timing, fans want clarity. They want to know one performance wins over another and why. And when that margin is small, less than 2 points, In this case, every score gets examined. To be fair, this isn't new to figure skating. The sport has been a long history of judging debates. Different judges value different styles. Some reward technique, precision, others reward performance and emotion. And the two elite teams, basically, they skated nearly perfect. The difference comes down to opinion, not mistakes. Opinion, so did the judges. Did they take gold away from the American team? Officially? No. But emotionally, fans often feel the way that when, expectations don't match results, especially when your favorite team loses, that's how it goes. Some people call it the Olympic pressure choker, whatever, pressure cooker. Every decision feels bigger because it only happens once every 4 years. Now let's talk medals. Let's talk medal counts, okay? Because the overall race is getting interesting. As of right now, Norway sits at or near the top in total medals. That's unusual. Italy, the host nation, is right there in the mix. That's also unusual. And the United States is currently among the leaders as well. That's not unusual. With the, roughly mid-teens total medals in competition, let's see. Countries, Japan, Australia, Germany are also close behind, making this one of the tightest medal races in recent Winter Games history. And that's what makes the Olympics fun. Not just the wins, but the arguments afterwards. I don't think so. I want the U.S. to win. I want to win everything. Because in judging sports, there always is one question that they leave hanging out there. Was it the better performance or was it the better score? And depending on who you ask, those aren't always the same, right? I don't know. I'm always going to root for the United States. I don't like some of the athletes that are making the Olympics political. Like I've said before, there's only a few things that I enjoy that take my mind off of my everyday problems and what's going on in the world. That's the Super Bowl and that's the Olympics. And it seems like they're both kind of being a little bit tainted for me this year. Maybe I'm just being oversensitive, and then you think about our problems, right? The problems that we're having as individuals. And you look at people like that poor lady that was kidnapped. That lady Savannah, I'm sure you've all heard about it. It's all over TMZ and everywhere else, right? That it's so sad. But I did tell Chris, I said that's an old person. I watched the video of the person in that little alleyway and everything, and I said, look, he barely picks his feet up. He's got like skinny legs and no ass. He doesn't bend over well. I said, that person's old. That's an old person. And then the next day they show this like clip of somebody else and stuff. So I don't know. But my opinion was it was a balding old guy that did it and stuff. And the backpack looked to me like it was full because they just went to the dollar store and bought tarps and stuff. It doesn't look good for that poor lady. That poor old lady. I just feel so bad. So let's talk about it a little bit. The case involves a mother, if you didn't know, the television personality Savannah Guthrie, something like that. So as of today, the case is still active. There are more questions than answers. Here's where things stand right now. Nancy Guthrie, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, 84 years old, was reported missing after disappearing from her home in Arizona in the early morning hours. Police very quickly said that this did not look like a normal missing persons case. Evidence at the home suggested she was taken against her will. Blood matching Nancy's DNA was found on the front porch, and the investigators say she likely did not leave voluntarily. The strongest piece of evidence so far is a surveillance video that shows a masked man wearing gloves and carrying a backpack tampered with the home's doorbell cam shortly before she disappeared. Police say that this person is a primary suspect, of course, duh. But as of today, no one has been identified and no arrests have been made. Investigators have also recovered DNA evidence at the scene. Officially says that DNA does not belong to Nancy. So now there's another person there. They have proof of it. So And I guess they've matched it to anybody that's close to her, family, friends, and stuff like that. And it's not theirs either. So that could be, a major clue. But right now, they still don't know who it belongs to. Testing is ongoing, but testing takes time. There have also been ransom messages sent to the media outlets demanding millions of dollars through Bitcoin, right? Here's the important part. Police have not confirmed that these messages are real or connected to the actual suspect. They might be just somebody going for a money grab. And there's been no confirmed proof of life. They not once. Usually kidnappers do proof of life, right? They go, I want $6 million and here, you can talk to your mom for a minute. Didn't know that she's still alive. But they haven't done that. So I think it's a scammer. I think it's somebody just trying to get money, but that's my opinion. But that's one of the reasons investigation remains so cautious. Law enforcement says they've received thousands of tips since releasing images of the suspect. The FBI is involved, and the reward has been offered for information leading to the arrest. And this is what gets me too. The ransom was $6 million. The family said they're willing to pay it, and the reward was $50,000. That doesn't make sense. Why is the reward so small and the ransom so? I don't know. I think I would have put it at $1 million. Maybe somebody will tell on them. But despite that, officials, they still don't know where she is. There has also been some tension reported between local investigators and federal agencies about how evidence is being handled. Like, for example, did you guys know that they released the crime scene? All the cops left. The reporters went there to cover it and found blood that the cops missed. So the cops had to come back and seal off the scene. But at that point, it's not going to hold up in court. Anybody who ever gets arrested, they're going to say that's inadmissible. It was contaminated. Could have been anybody. They really screwed up there. It's going to be another OJ, if you ask me. But the disagreement has not slowed the investigation, but it shows how complex cases like this can become. Multiple agencies are involved. The police believe right now is relatively simple. They believe this was targeted. They believe someone entered the property during the night, and they believe that the suspect planned ahead based on the attempts to disable the camera. That's not convincing though. What they do not yet know is motive. They don't know this is a ransom, personal, something else entirely. Savannah and her family have made public appeals asking for anyone with information, please come forward and ask for proof that Nancy is still alive. As of today, the investigation continues, and authorities say they are still actively pursuing leads. No suspects identified. But if you know that show 24 hours, that's the whole premises of police work. If you don't have solved leads within 24 hours, every day after that becomes harder and harder and harder to solve the case. And that's kind of where they're at right now with this. So my God bless her. My prayers are with her. What a horrible thing. I can't imagine. My mother's old, about the same age as Savannah's mom. And I can't imagine this happened to my mother. My God, I'd be going crazy right now. So if you're out there and you know anything about this case, please report it to the police. Call your local police department, get in touch with them, let them know that I think the reward has actually been bumped up to $100,000. Right. And, they're trying to figure this out. They keep showing web cameras and stuff, but it is what it is. Now we're going to get to some things right now that are pissed me off, and they're going to be a little bit controversial, and these are going to hurt some people's feelings tonight. And I'm sorry about this, but I have to say this because I've been warning people about this ever since I came on here. I knew this was coming. This is a trans reality check, okay? It really pissed me off because tonight's it's going to be direct, right? Because I'm not surprised by what's happened. Not right now. I'm frustrated, not angry. For the sake of being, not just for the sake of being angry, I'm frustrated because we let it happen and these people don't get why we were saying what we're saying. And if you wonder what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about we warned people what was coming. Nobody wanted to listen. People started with the part people avoid. Kids, puberty blockers, hormones, surgeries on teenagers. For years, the message was simple, safe, reversible, saving lives. And I kept saying, slow down, because when permanent medical decisions start happening fast, especially with minors, Eventually, reality catches up, and now it has. This case is why people paid attention. Somebody by the name of Fox Barden, 22 years old now is 22 years old, from Yorktown Heights, New York. Back in 2019, at age 16 years old, she identified as male, underwent a double mastectomy, top surgery, approved by psychologist Kenneth Ehorn, performed by surgeon Simon Chen. It was framed as affirmation, necessary care. Today, she's detransitioned, identifies as female again, and she says the process was rushed and she wasn't properly evaluated, that risks weren't fully explained. She says she was left permanently harmed. The case went to trial. It went to Winchester County Supreme Court. It took 3 weeks. January 30th of 2026, the jury came in with a verdict. Both providers found liable for malpractice. The jury determined the medical standards were not followed, right? They awarded $2 million, $1.6 million for pain and suffering, and $400,000 for future medical costs. This is the first transition case for malpractice that has gone to the courts and won. Why that matters? It matters because now a precedent has been set. And when precedents get set, lawyers start paying. They start paying attention. Here's the uncomfortable part. Irreversible procedures on minors without exhausting every alternative first. That's where liability lives. And now the lawsuits are starting, right? You can't call it rare. You can't call it political. But 6 regular people on a jury looked at the evidence and said something went wrong. That's reality. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. When medicine moves faster than caution, a backlash isn't social, it's legal. And once that starts, it doesn't stop quickly. This is also why the conversation around women's sports has exploded again recently, because fairness questions, right? We question the fairness of the game. And it doesn't disappear just because we're uncomfortable, right? There was a Jupiter Valley High School kid in 2025 state track finals. This transgender person won the high jump, the triple jump, the silver long jump, and there were protests. They followed. Arrests followed. Girls sharing podium medals to make a statement, right? They just refused to do it. Now in 2026, federal title investigations are underway. Multiple districts involved, right? And again, the same pattern. People warned this would become an issue. How many times have I said this on here about the trans athletes? We're ignoring the common sense part of this, and it's going to start biting us in the ass, and it has officially started. Same with the kids. Nobody wanted to deal with this, right? Early on, it was national fight. And this is where frustration comes in for me. The original movement about this whole thing started with something simple. Let adults live their lives like me. Don't tell me what to do. I'm an adult. I'm older. I can make my own decisions. I can sign my own contracts, but it spilled over into children. And they pushed it, right? Basic fairness. Somewhere along the way, that got replaced with ideology. And when ideology replaces caution, people get hurt. Adults making adult choices, that's okay. That's freedom. Rushing kids into permanent decisions, that's different. Those are not the same conversations. And pretending they are is how we end up here, where we are right now, right? This isn't about hate. It's about responsibility. Doctors have the responsibility. Parents have the responsibility. Communities have the responsibility, and ask questions is not an attack just because you want to know why. People attack me for my opinions on this. And to me, it's obvious, but I still get a lot of hate for it, right? Facts don't care how uncomfortable you are. Reality catches up eventually. And right now, that's exactly what we're watching happen. This is, if this resonates with you, right, know that you can come here and you can talk about it. Seriously, you can say the real things on this channel, because I'm not going to cancel you. I'm going to congratulate you because you're doing the right thing. And another thing I think about this case, if the doctors and the counselors got sued, so should the parents, because the parents have the ultimate say-so over their child. And they should have been the parent that said, no, 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 you're too young. You can wait till you get older to make those decisions, but they did anyway. And now they've set a precedence. There is going to be so many lawsuits of kids detransitioning because our country, I don't know what's going on in another country, our country started pushing the issue of transgender on children. Why? I can only speculate that it was so that they made money in the medical things and medicine and all that shit, and so that politicians would have leverage here, this way or that way, amongst the left wing or the Democratic voters. We went too far. I didn't. I've been screaming from the top, but I say we because it's my community. We went too far, people, and now it's going to bite them in the ass. Doctors are going to stop doing those procedures on children because they're afraid they'll get sued now. And that was a big settlement. Now, should they have been blamed for that? Yes, absolutely. Because we rely on doctors to tell us the truth. And this is where I give the parents a little bit of leeway. When the doctors say to you, look, if you don't do this, your kid could, it might they might harm themselves. Then you're going to go, oh my God, I'll do anything to stop that. But that's where the counselors are supposed to step in and go, no, wait. We need to think about this. These are kids. They're not fully matured. They're not fully developed. We shouldn't push this issue. But for some reason, for a good 4 or 5 years, this country decided it was a good idea to let kids decide their medical future. And if you said anything against it, you're a hater, you're a transphobe, you're this, you're that, right? I still get it today, because every time I come on their live, I say, don't do this to kids, get out of sports, let's get back to common sense, and still I get a ton of hate. It's very frustrating me, but you know what? Now it's happened. Now it's out there. Now we got to see where we go from here. And if you are on the left, believe me, the right is celebrating this. But if you're on the left, you need to start looking at things differently. Kids are at more danger and more risk if we allow them to control their futures without the adult stepping in and giving them mature, responsible things to do. Please, please tell your children they need to wait till they're old enough to make their own decisions, because these things are not reversible. These pills, these hormones, these blockers are not reversible. I don't care what anybody says. You can believe whatever you want, but I'm telling you, I have no skin in the game. I'm older, right? I like transition. I am who I am. And so will some trans people be when they get older. But the majority of kids are just going through identity crisis. And this country went through this weird phase where we were pushing them in the direction, not only of saying that they're transgender, but pushing them to physically change who they are. And it's coming, the backlash is starting to hit. And I've said before, do you want to be that parent that your child comes up to and says, why did you do this to me? I was just a child. Do you want to be that parent that hears that? Or do you want to be the parent that right now hears from a minor, I'm going to do what I want? You go, no, you're not. You're my kid. I make the decisions. When you're old enough, you make the decisions. The way parents have been parenting their children for years. When did we forget that general thing, right? Go to your room. That's what we used to say when kids were throwing fits. Now it's go to the doctor. Come on, guys. We need to buck up here. Parents need to be parents. This is on you, Gen X. Gen X, it's on you. Toot your horn about all the things you did good. So that's what I had for the structured part of this broadcast tonight. I'll get to the chat. If you want to ask me a question, please do. I do this right before I go to the chat all the time, because the chat on my show is very angry. They're very discussing a lot of times. They're hurtful. They say mean things about me. I don't care. But here's what my opening line before I go to the chat is every single time. I don't believe transgender women belong with women's sports, period. They just don't belong there. They have an advantage, right? It doesn't make them bad people, but they have an advantage, and they're taking stuff away from females. Don't do that no more. If you have a penis, you don't belong in the women's locker rooms. No exceptions. Take your penis somewhere else. You don't belong there. But if it's just a bathroom thing and you look like me, go to the bathroom. Bathrooms have individual stalls, but public showers don't. Don't bring your penis in there. It's uncomfortable for women. That's a safe place. A lot of people think of women or men's penises as weapons. Please don't bring them in there. Should schools keep information from parents about their kids being transgender? No, they're not your kids, school. They're the parents' kids. Let the parents raise their kids, and you teach them about arithmetic, math, science, and everything. Stay out of the business of the home, unless something's wrong with the child, then you need to report that because they're being harmed in any way, right? What else was there? You know my opinion on kids. They should never transition before they're 18 years old. 25 is even better because that's when you're mentally mature. Had that girl that was 16, had the parents say, sorry, sweetheart, you're 16 now. You got to wait 24 more months and then you can do whatever you want. They wouldn't be in the situation with their daughter having a double mastectomy, and the doctors wouldn't be in that situation if the doctors would have said, we need to wait until this child is of legal age to sign their own papers and let them have more counseling along the way. And in the meantime, they can still represent themselves through their appearance. What's wrong with that? They did it all the time for goth and pink mohawks and all other kinds of shit. When I was younger, when did it change? When did parents stop having the freaking balls to tell their children no? You're not supposed to be your kid's best friend. You're supposed to be their parent. When they get to be 40, you can be their best friend. Now be their parent. What else was there? I went through sports, went through kids, bathrooms. Anyway, I'm here now. I'm going to start going to the chat. If you have something you want to ask me a real question, ask it. If you're asking a disgusting thing or you're just telling me horrible things, I'm not going to read your thing. And if you're all about the Bible right now, I'm really not into it. I'll get it to you. I usually save about the last 15 minutes for the Bible people. I'll talk to you guys at the end because obviously you have a different opinion of what the Bible says than I do. And we'll get that, but we'll do that afterwards at the end of it because not a lot of people really want to hear that bullshit back and forth. They want to talk about the real things. And if you have a real question, I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. I will go through after the show and have ChatGPT cipher it out, find any ones that I missed, and I'll answer them after the show on a separate live. So let's get to it. What do you guys got to say right now? Let's find out. I do have my other phone here tonight, so I can actually look on here and then answer your question. If you have questions, there's no question that I won't answer as long as it's not gross. If it's gross, I'm not answering it, okay? If you truly, I'll answer questions even as like, what was bottom surgery like? Because I have been fully transitioned. I've had bottom surgery, top surgery, part of my face. I got one more thing to go. And my voice. I'm going to have my voice done. So I'm a good distance into transitioning. My background, for you that don't know, I started transitioning when I was 56 years old. I'm currently 61. When I was 6 years old was the first time, my first memory of me saying to myself, Lord, can you fix me when I look at my genitals? And I hid it for the next 50 years. That's when I came out. 56 years old. It was about 5 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever it is. 56, yeah, 5 years ago. I'm 61 currently. And I didn't know the world was so screwed up when I came out. I thought everybody was ready. I've lost my loved ones. I've lost best friends. I've lost respect from jobs doing this. And a lot of it comes from the crazy shit that the trans community is doing out there in my name and everybody's name that's transgender. I believe it's purely, we are born this way through the hypothalamus of the brain. That's a whole different subject. If you want to know about that, I can ask that question to, or answer that question too. So let's get to it. Let's see what we got tonight. See if people are being nice tonight. Probably not, huh? And if Joe, if you're out there, I know you're into aliens, and I'm so sorry. I forgot to do the whole alien prep for tonight. I totally blanked. I'll do it again for the next one. If you're here because of the alien topic, I'm so sorry. Jeremy Corbell and the older guy that he does it with, they have so many neat things that are coming. I really think there's going to be an announcement soon about aliens. I really do, because I believe in them. I wish they would save us. Okay, let's get to let's see what we're doing here. By the way, for you that know Christine, she's sick again. She's home, but she's not feeling well. That's why she's not helping. She's been struggling with pneumonia, and she had sepsis, that blood disease or whatever. And she went back to the hospital today, have more x-rays of her lungs, stuff. She's really having a hard time. So please, your prayers with her. What? I said sepsis. So please say a prayer for her tonight that she gets better and comes back and drives me crazy. Okay, let's see. Where are we at? All right, here we go. This is always the funnest part. Oh, first one I see. You need Jesus, man. You need a life, bro. Okay. Do you think there is a problem with trans people grooming children? Yes, absolutely. I just discussed that. And it has finally came back and bit the people in the ass that were the ones most responsible for this, because parents trusted the counselors and the doctors to say the things that their kid wasn't saying to them. They trusted that these counselors were getting inside their kids' brains, figuring out what was going on. And now, do you guys realize the majority of detransitioners are girls that transition to being a boy? And the biggest problem was they cut their boobs off. And then, as I keep saying, majority of kids, when they get older, they figure it out and they're not trans. It's something else that they're dealing with. And now these kids, these women are like, I liked my woman body. I liked my female body, but now I have no breasts. I can't breastfeed my child, right? And they should take some responsibility on themselves, because they're the ones that pushed so hard for their parents to do this. But there's a difference. They're kids. We're adults. We're supposed to direct them, not the other way around. And unfortunately, parents trusted these counselors and they steered them in the wrong direction. And these counselors should not only be held financially responsible, they should be held criminally responsible for children, transition children. Shame yourself. Okay. Thank you for being honest and not biased to the trans community. No, I am trans. Nobody can tell me I'm a trans hater or, I'm transphobic. Duh. I'm not, but I'm a realist. Kids are kids. People, they are children. And we cannot let children, when we start letting children make adult decisions, our country looks like it does today. That simple. Okay, can you have orgasms? Yes. People that have had bottom surgery are capable of having orgasms. They are not the same as when I was a man. When I was a man, and before I go into that, let me make this clear to people. I know I'm not female, okay? I realize I was born guy. I can't get pregnant. I can't have periods. I know I'm not female. I am a transgender woman and damn proud of it, but I'm not female. I'm not trying to take anything from female spaces. I'm just trying to live my best life. But I know I'm not a female, so don't give me that shit. There's only two sexes. I know that already, so don't do that dumb shit to me. Now, can they have orgasms? Yes, they are still capable of having orgasms. I've experienced kind of one, but I'm still pretty fresh in this. I only had it like a year and a half ago. It takes a long time for that area to completely heal to where you can actually become active. We'll see. But yes, it is. If some people say it's incredible, me personally, I can't imagine that it would be stronger than it was when I was a man. I don't know. I don't care. I'm 61 years old. It doesn't mean that much to me anymore. If I was 30, it would mean a lot more. Okay, what's next? Okay, where are we at? Your people is wild. I like saying all men are rapists. No, I'm not saying, I don't know what my people, all men are not like that. For sure they're not like that. Anybody who thinks that all men are bad and they do horrible things to women, you're just wrong. But there's a lot of them that do. Even me, the way I look. I mean, everybody knows I'm trans. You could tell that I'm a trans. Guys walk by me in the stores and they go, is that appropriate? Or guys will purposely walk down the aisle, every aisle I'm going down over and over and over again. Now, maybe they're looking at me because I'm weird looking. I'm not a typical looking woman, but I don't think that's it. And you go, well, you shouldn't wear your top like this if you don't want guys looking at you. I like the attention. I mean, I do this because it makes me feel sexy. I get that. But do you have to go by and grunt and groan? Not all guys are gross, but there's a lot of them out there. Okay. What else we got here? Okay, let me see here. Why are you trans though? If you if you know that you aren't a woman and can never be a woman, is it all a sexual thing? No, there is people that have a condition where this turns them on to do this. I can't remember what it's called, but there is a condition for that. That's not me. This has never turned me on. What happened, this is biological, right? The majority of trans people is a biological condition that was formed before birth, right? When the body determines, like there's a part of your development in the belly, when you're in the uterus, that determines your external sex. And then hormones kick in, they make a penis, they make a vagina, whatever. This is where you get hermaphrodites sometime, or intersex. They got both sex organs, right? Because they got a mixed signal. Well, later on in development in the womb, about 6 weeks later in the pregnancy, the hypothalamus of the brain is the part of the brain where how you see yourself, how you perceive yourself, because your brain can't hear, smell, taste, or anything. So it relies on sensory inputs. And if something happens at that same time, that gets an influx of hormones, it can make your body go opposite direction of what your brain go the opposite direction your body did. In a sense, it's not the same, but it's like being a hermaphrodite brain. You have an intersex brain. When I was born, my brain thought I was a girl. My body was a boy. I was confused my whole life. I didn't know why I felt like that, but it was never sexual to me. But to some people, it is. And this condition can also come in levels. Some people can just be happy with wearing girls' underwear, and they'll be satisfied for the rest of their lives. All the way up to people like me who need to transition, not just how I look, but totally my total body, to make me feel finally to be living in the body I was supposed to be born with. And thank God that there is medicine that can make me feel that way, because I was miserable. I want to live the last 10, 15 years of my life, because I'm old, as happy as I possibly can. This is why it doesn't bother me when people don't like me, because I'm not living your life. I'm living mine. What you think of me doesn't matter to me. What my parents, my family, it does. But I can't live for them anymore. I gotta live for me. And all I ask of the public is just treat me with respect. You don't have to like what I do, who I am. I'm not after your kids. I don't want to do anything to women's spaces. I know I'm not a female. I'm not delusional. Just treat me with respect. That's all I want. Okay, what do we got? Let's go back here. Okay, someone said your people pushed this with trans advocacy in schools. That was responsible for saying that you people. Yes, I agree. This was definitely pushed by the left-wing agenda, and I don't know why they did this. I don't know why they thought it was good. They must have thought, it would help children not have to deal with looking male at all. But what they didn't take into consideration is kids are going to go with whatever they think is popular. Kids want to please you, right? If you're a teacher, and if the kid thinks that saying to that teacher, I'm a girl, when you're a boy, is going to make that teacher happy and like them, they'll say it. And the kids are so easy to manipulate. Because a little boy likes pink and playing with dolls does not mean that they're trans. Maybe they're gay, and that's okay. Maybe they don't want to cut their penis off and they want to grow up and be a gay man. But if as a child we see something like that, we automatically go, oh, you're trans, puberty blockers, hormones. You're stupid. They're too young to know. We're too young to know what's in their mind, and so are they. So you got to wait. Wait, they're 18, 19 years old. So you get a little bit more of male features. Who cares? You're not going to be a female anyway. You're going to be a trans person. Be okay with that. Trans women are different. We look different than natural born women. It's obvious when you see a trans person. It's okay though. It doesn't make us ugly. We're beautiful who we are. What makes us ugly is when we try to take women's spaces, or we try to push kids along too fast. That's what makes us ugly. That's what makes the public really not like us. Okay? Until this whole kid movement happened and this whole bullshit sports movement happened, nobody cared about trans people. We just minded our own business and went about it. But as soon as that left-wing lunatics started getting kids involved, and trying to blow smoke up the whole country's ass, saying a transgender woman doesn't have an advantage over a biological woman in sports. That's when everybody said, time the fuck out. I don't buy this shit no more. And it started fighting back. And now they're really kicking our ass. You know, there's a lot of trans people out there that think like I do, and I need them to stand up and say so. You need to voice your opinion now. Stop being afraid that you're going to be canceled or kicked out of the club. You have a club here. Join this club. Join this one. You have a place here. Don't worry about them because they are fucking your future up, right? They are making things really, really hard for trans people. And we're good people. We're not bad people. They're thinking that we're doing all the shootings all over schools and everywhere, and that it's just not true. But people believe it because they see crazy ass trans people out there doing stupid shit. If you're trans, you think like I do, come here and tell your story here. And then out there, stand up and be proud of yourself, because this is not what the LGBTQ people were about 10 years ago. I don't know why they're about that now. I don't think they're all about that, but they've been led the wrong way. We need to bring this shit back, show people that we're just normal people. We know the difference between a damn woman and us. Stop pretending that we don't. And if you go in front of Congress and you represent me and my community, and the guy asks you, can trans women get pregnant? You fucking say no. Excuse my language. I get so pissed off when I see that shit because it makes me look stupid, and I don't like that. Are you a man? Okay, this is the ignorance that I have to deal with on the other side, and this ignorance is deserved. We created this ignorance, right, of these people that just say stupid things like, there's only two sexes, man and a woman. No shit, retard. God dang, man. America is full of shit going down in shit. President of America shit. Okay, here's the thing. I voted for Trump. And people say, why would you vote for somebody who obviously hates your guts, right? Well, the truth of the matter is there's a couple reasons, very blaring ones. For one, if you have a vice president who knows that the president that they serve underneath is mentally incapacitated and unable to perform the duties, we expect that vice president to stand up and say something, not go along with the ruse. The fact that she didn't stand up and say anything like she should have as the mature adult, because we're expecting her to be a mature adult leading our country, she should have said, Biden is not fit. He needs to step down. I will take control. But she didn't. She perpetrated the lie. That was number one. And number two, what's going on in Minnesota, the person she picked for a vice president is number two. And she just didn't seem smart to me. Those are the main reasons I could not vote for Kamala, because our country would be in worse shape now than it ever was. That's why I voted for Trump. If he'd had a better candidate, I would have probably voted for Kennedy if he'd have continued to run. That's why I voted for Trump, because there's no damn way I could have voted for that woman after lying to us for all those years and then getting up there on stage and pretending like it didn't happen. That's bullshit. The vice president of this country should have the balls to call out when the president is no longer fit for his duty. That's why they're there. Okay, I'm calming down now. Calming down. That's the truth, right? And Kamala just doesn't seem very goddamn smart to me. Pick a better candidate, right? I am center. I don't vote I vote the policy, not the politics, right? I'd never say I'm Democrat or Republican because I don't know what I'm going to vote on. You know, if the Democrats say something good, I'm going to admit it. If the Republicans do something good, I'm going to admit it. Here's the thing. Here's the problem is people hate Trump so much they can't even appreciate any of the good things that he's done. Just like the Republicans can't see anything good in the Democratic side. There's good in both sides. There's bad in both sides. And if you can't see that, then you're too far up your own party's ass, and you need to pop your head out and take a breath, because Trump just fixed freaking the price of medicine for seniors all over this country, my parents included, me included. I'm a senior. I'll be 62 and retiring in a year. That right there, anybody on the other side should be able to say, hey, Trump did that. And one lady said, and he also took away paper straws. But if you can't see at least one good thing in the other side, then you're too far up your own side, and you might need to back up a little bit. We should vote the policies, not the politics. And so should our Congress. There's no goddamn way all them Democrats all think the same and all the Republicans do. It's bullshit. You're in your position because the people who voted you and expected you to vote as they wanted you to vote, not as Trump or the other side wanted you to. Come on, people, take our country back. Take them back from these greedy politicians. For Christ's sakes, they're making fools out of us. Look at this Omar lady in Minnesota. She hates our country. She's made $30 million out of it, and we're protesting to protect her. Okay, back to the things. Oh, here, the first Charlie Kirk reference. Hey, person, Charlie Kirk person. As soon as I found out about Charlie Kirk getting shot, the first thing I did was I started a live interview, and I begged and begged and begged people on the left to not celebrate this man's death. Do not celebrate. Do not stoop to the level of making this something that you say that you're happy about. You should never celebrate the death of anybody, including Renee Good and the other guy that got killed by ICE, right? Even though I don't have a lot of problems with what ICE is doing, but I do have a problem with people dying for no reason. Although they should not have done what they were doing. They wouldn't have put themselves in harm's way if our country was so crazy right now. Anyway, Charlie Kirk, I actually sent about 5 separate emails to Charlie Kirk himself asking to debate him about transgender issues, where it comes from, how it comes from. Because I think if I would have been able to sit in front of him, I maybe could have got him to see that this is not just a feeling of who we are. This is actual science behind why I'm transgender. But I never got the opportunity because that crazy person took his life too soon, right? I don't give a shit. Did I like what he said? No, because he was bashing me and my kind and who I am all over the place. That doesn't mean I wanted him gone. I wanted to debate him. I wanted to beat him at his own game. And I never got the opportunity because some selfish idiot on the other side took him away. Now he's got kids that are going to grow up without their dad. No, that should never be celebrated. And yet people on the left celebrated that shit. That pissed me off. Because people assume because I'm trans, I'm on the left. You must be on the left. No, I'm not. I'm not a left wing. I'm down the center. Actually, center right. Okay, where are we at here? Where are we at these? Hey, my dad. I seen something went by. Okay, so why do you have boobs? Kind of here, I'm a woman, 32, hitting chest at the gym, trying to get the perks of it. Because as a biological male, I started taking hormones. I started to develop some breast tissue, right? But they looked like, to be honest with you, fat old man boobs. And I didn't want those. I wanted lady breasts. That's what gender dysphoria is, because my brain for 56 years was in a tug of war with my body, and it tore me to pieces. That was a horrible life to live. And once I started transitioning, I started to notice something about myself. I didn't mind looking at myself in the mirror. I felt calmer. I felt more in touch with who I am. And the one biggest part is I wanted to live. I wanted to become old. Before, I didn't want to. I preferred somebody to just take my ass out because I wasn't going to do it myself, because I wouldn't do that to my kids. I want to live. I want to become old now. I didn't realize what peace felt like. I didn't realize or even know what feeling comfortable with who you are even meant, because I was never that way. That's why I got boobs. That's why I cut my penis off and got a vagina, because it just made me feel better. It's hard to explain. If you don't have gender dysphoria, how do I explain? It's like being explained to somebody who doesn't have Down syndrome what Down syndrome feels like, or anxiety what anxiety feels like. It just made me feel whole, right? I don't know. Does it affect you that I have boobs? Really? Does it? Does it hurt you? How does it affect you? I mean, I want to be you. If you're a lady, a beautiful lady, you have the curves that I've always wanted and stuff. I have to fake it. You got it naturally. I envy you. I don't want to take anything from you or invade your spaces. I wanted to be you, but I can't be you, so I'm going to be me. I hope that makes sense of someone. Brooke say ice cream if this is not pre-recorded. Ice cream. What do you mean if it's not pre-recorded? How would it be pre-recorded? How would we answering question if it's pre-recorded? I don't do pre-recorded. I don't do AI. I don't do filters and all that bullshit. So there you go. Ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. Ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. Does that work? Okay, let's see. What do we got? Let's try to that sloppy hole. Oh, you're disgusting. Who said that? Who said that? No, let me see that person. See what I like to do sometimes Ignore all these negative assholes, Brooke. You are beautiful, so happy you are comfortable in your own skin and are happy. Thank you. Thank you very much. That to me is the kind of person that is just kind at heart. That person is not going to go out there and do mean things to people that say negative, terrible things. They just want to live their life. And they hate to see somebody like that they like or respect being talked to like this. It's just crazy, right? And you know the funniest thing? The majority of comments that I get after these programs are from right-wing people, are people that say stuff like, I've never subscribed to a transgender channel before, but I subscribed to yours because I want you to help end the chaos. Because if more people thought like you, then we wouldn't be all pissed off at the trans community. That's the kind of message that I get afterwards from normal people with kids living their life that are sick of this whole trans bullshit being everywhere all the time and affecting their everyday lives in ways that it never should have to begin with. That's what I get messages from. And of course, the supporters, people subscribe to the channel, which I appreciate because the more that subscribe, the more people I can go out there and say, hey, people that are trans, you don't have to do that no more. You don't have to sit on your hands. You can speak up. You can say, bullshit, I don't believe in that stuff. Leave the kids out of sports. Stop trying to make your child transition. Stand up and fight for our fucking sanity because this is our lives. It's affecting us. This crazy shit that's happening is affecting us, me, every day. Look at the chat. That's the result of not actually just sticking to common goddamn sense. I hate the fact that Trump made more sense than a lot of people that identified the same as me. I hated that fact, but it was true. That's the thing is when Trump started talking about trans people, I agreed with him because he was talking about kids transition. He was talking about trans people in sports. I agreed with all those things, but he didn't stop there. He wants to freaking take me away too. And look at buddy, that's not going to happen because this is not an electoral thing. I was born this way. Whether you like it or not, that's the truth. And eventually we're going to have the proof that shows it. They're going to be able to run the test that shows the genes in the hypothalamus that proves it. And then they can't deny us our care. And everybody will finally get, oh, I get it now. You were born that way. But it's going to take a while. Okay. Oh, let's try that slop. That person. Who said that? That person that was disgusting said that disgusting shit. I want to see what their channel looks like. Okay, let's go there and see that. Let's go to your channel there, partner. Who are you? Wearing a ski mask. What a gentleman. Name is Christopher. Christopher, oh my God, you're weird. He's got a whole bunch of short videos of just himself in a hoodie, looking like the Unabomber, burning stuff and sticking out his old tongue. He's got a thing for armadillos. You're weird, dude. You're weird. You can move on. Whoa. How old are you anyway? You have 2 subscribers? Who? You and your mom? It's not cool what you're doing, Christopher. Chill out, man. You're being gross. Go be gross somewhere else. Sorry about that, guys. But when people get on here and they think that they can just get away with saying this gross shit, I want to call them out on it. See what they do, right? Let's see what they live like. See who they are. And Christopher, you're disgusting. Sorry, that's my take. Buddy, you're just, buddy, you just said you chopped your dick off. Yeah, I did. I didn't chop it off. I had a surgery to have it removed and turned into a vagina. It's not just turning it inside out. You gotta open up wound right there. It's never gonna heal. Bullshit, dummies. It's a medical procedure performed by an extremely talented surgeon. Did a fantastic job. I was shocked. I was like, holy crap. That really looks like a vagina. So if you think it's just an open wound, you're just immature and misinformed. If you really want to know, ask somebody or do the work, do the homework. Look, if you're that curious, look at the medical journeys, watch videos, see how it's done. Don't just come to public hiding behind a keyboard going, you just have an open wound there, man. You just sound dumb. I'm the effing devil. No, I'm not. Who said that? Who said I'm the effing devil? This is where I like to call people out because they're going to come on my channel and say shit like that. Don't I have the right to go to theirs and see who they are? This is Foopalord. Foopalord? Foopalord. Foopalord. It's got to be a child. Join, you have 19 subscribers. Congratulations. Good for you. You have people that subscribe to your freaking idiosyncrasies. Good for you. Good for you. And if you don't want to be called out like this, then don't say stupid shit. You're welcome here. You're welcome here to ask legitimate questions. Don't think I'm not going to freaking defend myself a little bit, the best I can. You're coming on here doing stupid shit. Why can't I call you out too? I have one question. Everybody listen. Says Ronald. Okay, Ronald, you have the floor. I'll make it a good one. Ronald says, how come man can be transgender, but woman cannot? They can. The thing is, you're pointing out a very important thing here. Nobody gives a shit about women that transition to men. You know why? Because men don't care if there's a vagina in their locker room. They care if there's a dick in their wives or their daughters, right? That's what they care about. Guys don't care as much. And also, guys have this fear. And this is the truth. Whether you guys want to really admit it or not, you're afraid that you'll be attracted to somebody like me, that somebody like me will get you a little bit hot under the collar. You're afraid of that. You're afraid if you go to a bar and you see somebody across the room that they might be trans and you think they're hot. Well, let me rest assured. I tell everybody that I know that's trans, here's what the deal is. If somebody shows interest in you in a romantic way, you have an obligation to tell that person you're trans. You have an obligation. Not later, not down the line, right then, right there. And other people will go, you don't have to tell anybody. You don't have to just, yes, you do. Because you're not the only person that's potentially thinking about starting some kind of a relationship. Whether it's a one-night stand or you're getting married, they have the right to know so they can choose themselves to continue or to back off, right? And it can get very dangerous if you don't. I'm just saying, don't be ashamed to be trans. Be proud. Don't be ashamed to tell that person, I'm trans. If you still want to pursue me, I think you're cute as hell. Let's do this. Or they can go, nope, I'm out. And you can be, okay, cool, bye, your loss. Me, I think, I don't know why a guy wouldn't want to date a trans. Like me, I love football. I love fishing. I can work on my car. I can build a house from the foundation up. That's pretty cool. I'm not saying women are bad because they can't. I'm just saying there would be a lot you would think that people would have in common with the trans person. However, I don't like guys. I like girls. I never did like guys. I never will like guys. I like girls. I'm a lesbian. Transbian. A lesbian trans. Anyway, let's get back to it. Okay. Seriously, look at your effing life. And what is wrong with my life? You say, seriously, look at your life. And what's your point? What's your point? What do you know about my life, for one, to even make that comment? But even to say you did, what about my life? How do what I do to me affect you or anybody else if I don't try to influence your children, if I don't try to somehow take over your sports, if I'm not being inappropriate when it comes to public facilities? How am I affecting you? I'm the first person that will advise a child to not transition. I'm the first person that would advise them to go seek, mental health and try to find any other condition that it could be other than this. So where's your argument now? Right? I don't get you. You have no argument, actually. Stop forcing this narrative on normal people. See that? Now, is it just me, or does that person seem ignorant? Or are they just not listening? I can understand if I got in here and I was total left wing and I'm totally pissed off about, they're not treating us right in the Olympics. We should be able to play all the girls' sport. If I was doing that, I could understand what you're saying, but you're not even listening to the words coming out of my mouth. You can be what you want to be, Brooke. Thank you. Yes, I can. Because this is America. It's like, and tell me, here's another thing I don't get. Homosexuals, trans people, that are total left wing, just total left wing, totally hate Donald Trump, totally hate anybody on the right and everything they stand for. They get out and protest. They're carrying the flags of countries that would kill them simply for being who they are. That doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. I don't get it. I don't get that. Palestine and them. I don't know a lot about the Middle East. I don't know about the whole Israel thing and why people hate Jews so bad. I don't care about any of that stuff. But I know some of those Middle Eastern countries that people are protesting for or whatever would actually end your life because you're trans or gay. That's just fact. And I don't understand anybody who protests in their name to another country that would end you when this country here lets you be who you want and you hate us. You hate your own country. I just doesn't get that. I don't get that. They want to feel important, so they talk dumb. Good night. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Good night. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. You know, I really appreciate that. There's so many smart people in this room. There's so many intelligent people that just can't get a word in edgewise amongst the few morons that come in here. I don't get it. I don't get it, guys. And if you are a troll and you're trolling me and somehow I've hurt you or a trans person has hurt you, this is the place you come and you talk about it. Tell me why they've hurt you, right? And I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to say you're automatically wrong because you don't agree with trans people. It's a weird thing to accept. But if there's some reason, nobody can tell me why they hate me so much. Like I ask all the time, you people that talk so much shit to me, why do you hate me so bad? What did I do to you? What did I do? I don't want you. I'm not trying to take you from your wife. I'm not trying to replace your wife. I don't care about that. I just want to be me. This is what makes me happy. You're what makes you happy. Why is that bad? I don't get it. That's why we live in this country, so we can do what we want without being persecuted. Okay, what do we got? It's unfortunate that the majority of of morons scream louder and more often, than the sound-minded, reasonable ones seem. Seems like we need to be louder on our side. Exactly, we do. That's why I'm telling trans people, it's time to stand up for this shit. It's time to stop worrying about being canceled, whatever that means. You know, you need to stand up. And when people say, you know, it's like I get people that aren't trans, people that have no idea what it's like to be trans are telling trans people that we belong in women's sports because they're supporting a narrative. We need to go, no, we don't. This would blow the freaking minds of everybody if trans people would, like me, start standing up and saying, we have an advantage in there. We can't be in there. It's not a fair game. Because it isn't. We all know that. But we're expected to live and go along with this lie. I've seen this every show too. I would love for one trans athlete, one in college, preferably, because it's a bigger stage, to say, nope, I'm not competing this year against the females because I have an advantage. I want one trans athlete, just one, to do that publicly and have it go all over the news. It would be so shocking. And then we could end this bullshit into telling our younger kids, 12, 13, 14, that they don't have an advantage. Go ahead, go and win all the fucking awards from the girls and pretend like you did something special when all the parents in the stands know you didn't, right? It's a fake thing. And when you get older and you look at that trophy in the box that you put away, you're going to go, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. Because you're going to realize when you get older that you had an advantage. You're just going to know that. No matter what happens to you now, you're going to realize that later when your brain's fully developed. Where's a single example of a woman transitioning to a man and absolutely dominating? They don't. That's the thing. See, people say, this is proof of my point. Male to female dominates female sports. Female to male loses everything because they can't compete with the biological males. The same thing that transgender women are trying to do to biological females. They can't compete against them because they're biologically stronger, faster, thicker skin, bigger lungs. That proves it right there. If there was the case that it was even across, you would have transgender men that were women before dominating women's sports. Right? If that was the case, it didn't matter. There'd be some out there that were just like really good at it. There's none. You don't hear about it. You just don't hear about it because This is even a good argument point. There's just no way, shape, or form that you can say that the transgender, look at, here's an argument. I had this with ChatGPT. See if you can follow me on this one. Here's what trans people, or not trans, advocates on the left say. Kids aren't transitioning. You're just making it up. There's not that many of them. It's less than 1% of kids are transitioning and having pills and taking stuff and da. And I say, okay, fine. So if you're saying that, and there's 120,000 youth athletes that are playing, transgender athletes that are playing in girls' sports, those are all kids that are going through male puberty, competing against girls going through female puberty. Therefore, it is absolutely 100% not fair, because they have a 30 to 40% strength advantage instantly right off the bat. And then they say, oh, you can't count it like that. I'm like, well, wait a minute. You said less than 1% of kids are medically transitioning. Therefore, that means that more than 99.6% of them are going through male puberty while they're competing against our girls. There's no argument anymore. You cannot argue the other side on that. You have to, if you're going to be logical and honest, you have to say, then that's not a level playing field. Therefore, they should not be allowed to compete against the girls. If it really doesn't matter, then have them go compete against the guys again. They won't do it because they're not winning over there. You know, and when I hear a trans athlete goes, we don't win all the time, it's because you purposely lose sometimes so it doesn't appear like it's easy. When I seen this one thing, this person, and no offense to them, but they didn't have a great running style. They were a guy, transgender girl, teenager, competing against the girls, and he was kind of running kind of goofy, you know, didn't have a great stride or nothing. And the girls are running their ass off and he still beat them by a quarter lap. You see that, because these girls are not working less. They're not trying less. The guys aren't working harder. That's why they're beating them, the transgender girls. It's because it's fucking not fair. And for you to sit here and think that I'm supposed to be stupid enough to think it is fair, then sorry. And this is where us transgender people need to get together, stand up and say, no more. No more, guys. Common sense shit, okay? Be proud of being trans. You're not a female. You just be proud of being who you are. You're not female. You're not fucking female. Be proud to be who you are. You're a transgender woman, and that's okay. Be proud of that. Nothing to be ashamed of. What is to be ashamed of is if you pretend to be female. Then you should be ashamed of yourself. You're not female. You're a transgender woman. You're beautiful as you are. Be proud to be a transgender person. This is the thing. If we continue thinking that we've so shamed ourselves that if we're not female, we're not good, then we're never going to feel that way. Be proud of who you are. You're beautiful, right? You're absolutely gorgeous. Just like gay people. When I was growing up, oh my God, if you had a gay person in your family, the father would disown him. They'd kick him out of the house. And our country evolved, and now it doesn't matter if you're gay. People don't care. They don't care. We can get there with being trans if we stop being stupid, right? Where people just won't care. Just be beautiful. Be you. Be you. Is your penis in a jar? Is your brain in a jar? Who said that? We gotta call this guy out. It's always a guy too. Let's see. Let's go to that person's channel. Let's see who they are with all their grandiose wisdom. This is, oh my gosh, stay going broke. Somebody's going broke. They have no subscribers. They have no content, no pictures, no family to love, nothing. I'm sorry. Are you that lonely? Man, you can come back here. Just leave the gross comments out and you'll be welcome here, right? I'm talking about my penis being a jar. That's just, not only is it immature, it's gross. Just saying. And whatever, still growing, going broke, or whatever your name is, whatever. Anyway. Okay, where are we at on time? I think it's getting close. I can tell my throat's getting a little bit hoarse. Where are we at? I got 9 minutes. 9 minutes left. And so if you have a question, a true question, ask it now, and I'll be more than happy to answer you. I know that I've been not ignoring the chat. I will go back. I will read this chat. I do it for every show. And I pick out like 10 or 15 of the questions that I missed, and I answer them, and I release it in a video. Usually, if it's not the same tonight, it'll be tomorrow that I release it, answering the questions if I think they're legitimate questions and people really want to know. Because I think it's important. Because even though there's 40 or 50 people in the chat, there's hundreds of people just sitting back watching because They got a trans kid and they don't know how to deal with it. Or they got a trans cousin or a brother or sister and they don't know how to deal with it. They run across this channel, they hear me talking, they go, this person seems normal. And I want my sister, my kid to be normal too. You know, people want to be okay with their trans people in their lives. But it's hard to be if the trans people in their lives are acting like a fool. That's really hard to support them. So, right? And my family, my mom and my dad are trying to still love me. They're doing their best, but this is really, really weird for them. They're 80-something years old. It's really weird, but they're trying. Because I just normal with them. When they talk to me on the phone, I'm normal. I don't go for all this crazy shit that's happening in our world. I just want normalcy. I'm the same person as before I transitioned. I just look different. And I'm happier. Don't be the crazy one. If you're the crazy one, it's going to make it harder on your family to accept you. Right? And I've lost a daughter. My daughter and I love each other. We were so much alike. And because of the rhetoric that she hears throughout the media, I can't even sit down with her and try to get her to understand that I'm still here. I look different. I know you wanted your dad and you didn't want me, but I'm still here and I still love the shit out of you. But there's so much negative shit that people say, like you got your penis in a jar. It's hard for me to get through to her. I just hope that I can before I die. We'll see. Breaks my heart. She's such a good kid. I love my grandkids. I want to be part of their lives, but because of the rhetoric, bullshit that my own people are putting out there, my daughter thinks I'm as crazy as they are. There's science behind this, people. We just have to look. There's science that explains why people like me are the way we are. We're born this way. We can't change it. You can't preach it out of me. You can't talk it out of me. You can't insult it out of me. It is who I am from my core. So there you go. Oh my God, you're a man. Damn. Every time I look down, I get disappointed. I think for a minute, you know what? We're going to make a difference tonight. We're going to change some minds tonight. And I look down and I see stupid people. They have to be kids, right? They got to be just young and stupid, right? Right? The same kids that we're trusting to make medical decisions about the rest of their lives are the kids that make stupid comments like this. They're kids. That one kid say, how dare you call me out on your channel after I made fun of you? What? Can you repeat that, please? Can you repeat that, please? Because I think it said adults only on my channel. Whatever. I had French toast with coconut and bananas. Pretty sure that upset someone. Probably the coconut and bananas that upset them. I don't like coconut, but I like bananas. My favorite banana milkshake. I'm like Forrest Gump. Banana shakes, banana pie, banana on my cereal. You cannot be talking RB. What does that mean? What does RB mean? You cannot be talking RB. What are you talking about? Who are you? Who are you? Who is you? Cat? Kate? Kate? Cat? Whatever. How come you don't have any content? Do you not know anybody? Do you not watch anything on YouTube? Do you only come on here to heckle people? What is it? I don't get that. People have zero content. Some would be like been there for 7 years and have not even one picture. It's like, that kind of makes you scratch your head and go, who are you? That's kind of weird. Whatever. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap her up. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate you. Like I said, please like the video. It helps spread the word to other trans people that feel trapped, other trans people that feel like they're not being heard, other trans people that don't know that they can talk out loud. Devil Dog. Hi, Devil Dog. 14 months. You've been longer than 14 months. You just missed a month. You've been a member for a few years. Some of the people like Devil Dog, Annie, Debbie, these people have been with this channel from the very beginning for years and years. And I appreciate the hell out of these people. I know that I don't get to have intimate time like we did when the channel first started. And there wasn't as many people that came by. But just know, you guys, I still love the hell out of you. Think about you guys all the time. Where was I? What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Because when you like the video, when you subscribe to the channel, it reaches more people. And those people know that they don't have to sit on their hands no more, that we need to make as much noise as the crazy fuckers to show that they do not represent me. They don't represent you. And I'm tired of hearing about how trans people are all fucking nuts, because we're not. We're not. Sound, logical people. But you never get to see me on the Meg Kelly show or the Pierce Robin show or anybody else debating, what it is to be trans and everything. Because you know why? Because I don't sell and don't make clicks, because I'm not going to go make a fool out of myself to make their ratings. I'm going to go talk logic. I'm going to talk science. And they don't want that. They want the, yeah. I'm not going to do that. I do it enough in my own personal life at home with Christine. So thanks, guys. Haven't made anyone laugh. Have I made anyone think? Yeah. Haven't made anyone laugh. I've made anyone think. That's a good line. If I haven't made you laugh, haven't made you think. That's a great line. Can I steal that from you? I really like that. I'm going to use that, because if I can't make you laugh, then I should be making you think. And if I can't make you think, I should be making you laugh. Thanks, guys. I'm out. My name is Brooke Rose. This is Brooke Rose Talks. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is when I try to come on here and persuade people like me to just be normal. Let's bridge the gap. Love you guys. See you next time.